Hey, I'm John McCann, and as a longtime school district administrator, specifically managing the district communications and having been married to a school principal, I've had the good fortune to see firsthand customer service done right in my schools and throughout the community. That's exactly what this lesson is about: good customer service. Now, before we get too far into it, I want you to stop this video just for a minute so you can write down in your course pack a brief description of a time when you experienced excellent customer service. A time when you were the customer and you found yourself impressed by the service extended to you. It could be somewhere in your community or anywhere you visited. And just like with bad service stories from a few lessons ago, feel free to list the name of the company or organization that offered this memorable service. Once you've written down your description of that time, turn the video back on. I'll be waiting right here. All right, please press pause on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Welcome back. The tips I want to share are rather general. You'll have upcoming sessions that include practical tips in more specific areas. In this session, I'm going to discuss 7 universal tips for good service. If you can integrate these concepts into your everyday service habits, you'll have happier customers and probably a few less headaches. So here's the first one, and it's really simple. Know your customer. School employees have an advantage over businesses in this area because we usually keep our students in a particular school for multiple years, and we typically have many opportunities to get to know the student and the family. But beyond just learning names, which is definitely important, learn what makes your customers tick, both individually and as a collective group. Now, what are their expectations of the school? What are their preferred ways to communicate? Most importantly, what needs can you meet? Second, be on time. Now, by this, I mean be on time with your promises. Rounding off is not acceptable. If you promise to return a call by 4 o'clock, then stick to it. 4:30 is not okay. There is no close enough. Customers are usually willing to give the service rep a chance to win their trust. Don't waste that opportunity by being late on a promise. If, and this is crucial, if you realize that you're not going to be able to make your promised time, please contact your customer to let him or her know the new estimated time. And be sure to apologize for the delay and give an explanation if you think it's appropriate. This is not an ideal scenario, but much, much better than simply being late on your promise. Along those same lines, over-deliver when possible. That is to say, go beyond your promise and beyond your customer's expectation. If you promise to have it ready by 4 o'clock and you have it by 2 o'clock, you will have earned both the favor and the trust of your customer. This is something to consider when you are making your original promise. Next, and this is a tough one, especially if you've been working in the same place for a long time, but I want you to consider the first impression being offered at your school or office. Try to see yourself as a customer, as a first-time visitor. Take it all in from the very beginning. Consider signage from the main road to the school. Think about directions to visitor parking and the main entrance. Is there litter? Is the paint peeling? How's the landscaping? These things matter. They make a big difference. Sometimes the very small things, the things that will require very little to no financial investment, can be the things that provide the best first impression. Ever considered brightly colored vinyl banners welcoming your guests? I love them. Cheap and easy to clean. What do your customers experience once they come inside? Consider all the senses, the smells, the sounds, the sights. There is a whole science to first impressions. We need to be cognizant of the customer experience. Maybe you need to survey your customers, or perhaps your first-time customers. And remember, first impressions apply to all modes of service, not just face-to-face. We have to think about the first impressions we make when we answer the phone or send an email. There's definitely a lot to consider. We'll have a full session devoted to first impressions later in the course. Another tip for good service includes offering choices. Just like every member of the family likes to hold the television remote, probably because it provides a sense of control or power or freedom, customers also like to be given options. Many organizations provide a menu of options when offering a service online or an automated phone system. We can also do the same with our walk-in customers. Everybody loves options. Now, this strategy may not always be feasible, but when possible, choices can certainly enhance the customer experience. You can expect to hear Jeff talk more about providing choices when you get to the lesson on difficult customers. Next, know your role. Now, I realize that isn't something we like to be told, but in this case, it's very relevant. You see, I firmly believe we are all customer service representatives, regardless of the title on our employee badge. We all have a responsibility for taking care of our customers. However, there may be some components of our customer service plan that fall primarily to you, and other components that fall primarily to me. For instance, maybe in some schools, the principal wants to be the one to conduct all school tours for new or soon-to-be students. There's nothing wrong with that. However, that same school may want all new student registrations to go through their data manager. It would be beyond the scope of my role to try to register a new student in that situation. Now, it's easy to see how chaos could ensue if I tried to register a student and didn't really know which forms needed to be completed or how to enter the data. Of course, the more we cross-train, the better we can meet the diverse needs of our many different customers. And having said all that, for the sake of good service, there may be times when we simply need to stay in our professional lanes. Now, my last tip for good customer service is all about a made-up word that I heard Jeff use in a training session many years ago, but it still rings true. You need to be access-approachable. Yeah, let that one sink in for a minute. Access-approachable. Back in the day, we used to emphasize the need for all customer service reps to be accessible. Well, that's surely a good thing. Of course, we should be accessible. However, we've discovered that there are some folks out there who are very, very accessible, but not so approachable. Have you ever heard a coworker tell you, "Come by anytime, my door's always open"? The problem is, after leaving his office, you find yourself shaking your head and hoping you don't have to cross paths with that person again anytime soon. What's the problem? The coworker is certainly accessible, but not approachable. Hence the new word, access-approachable. Try dropping that into a dinner conversation this weekend. Okay, in just a minute, we're going to sign off on this lesson. And when we do, I want you to go back to your course pack and reread your description of the good service you experienced. Then look at the list of the tips we just discussed. Place a star next to each tip that possibly played a role in your good service experience. We can naturally conclude that the tip or tips you starred were very meaningful to you as a customer since you remember that experience. All right, thanks for letting me be a part of your training. I look forward to seeing you in a future lesson. Goodbye.